In 1284, a wondrous man appeared in the town of Hamelin. He wore a coat of many bright colors. As he proclaimed himself a rat catcher, it was agreed that he should rid the city of all rats and mice. Thus he drew out a small fife and began playing. All the rats and mice came creeping out of the houses and followed him to the river Weser, where they drowned miserably. After the citizens have been delivered from this plague, they regretted their promise. Using all kinds of excuses, they denied the man his reward, so that he departed in bitterness and anger. On the morning of June 26th, he reappeared dressed as a hunter. Once again, the sounds of his pipe were heard in the streets. This time, however, it was not rats and mice that followed him, but 130 children from Hamelin. Only 2 stayed behind. One was mute, the other blind. The rest of them were never to be seen again. This is how the Brothers Grimm tell the story of the children of Hamelin in the first volume of their German legends in 1816. As in every legend, there's also a true core in the Pied Piper of Hamelin, and that lies hidden in the oldest sources. Some of them are mentioned by the Grimms, for example, the so-called Newgate Stone. Originally placed at one of Hamelin's city gates, nowadays it can be seen in the museum. The stone has a Latin inscription from 1556, which refers to the children's exodus. The oldest surviving source, however, is a manuscript from the German town of Lüneburg. An unknown priest added it to an older collection of legends, the Catena Aurea, in the mid-15th century. Even older are probably the rhymed memory verses. They were passed down orally long before they were written down. One of them can still be found as an inscription at the Pied Piper house today. But who was the nameless piper? Why did he take the children with him? And what happened to them? These questions remain unanswered by the sources. Also, whether it was really children or rather young adults. Scholars, local researchers, and scientists have argued about these questions for 4 centuries. Some believe that the young people of Hamelin died in a battle. The Pied Piper could have been a military musician who played for the troops on the march. Others claim the children died of the Great Plague and regard the piper as an allegory of death. None other than Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz suggested that it might have been a children's crusade. It is also possible that the young people of Hamelin moved east in search for a better life. At the time, settlers were recruited by so-called locators. They often wore brightly colored clothes and played an instrument to attract attention. Could the piper have been such a locator? We will never know for sure. But one thing we do know for sure, there has never been a great plague of rats in Hamelin. This motive was only associated with the older account of the children's exodus in the 16th century. The rats turned the incomplete narrative into a conclusive story. The Pied Piper is now a betrayed rat catcher who kidnaps the children out of revenge. This version has inspired many poets, musicians, and artists. One of them is Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, who writes a poem about the Pied Piper in 1803. 12 years later, it was set to music by the German composer Franz Schubert. Goethe describes his Pied Piper for the first time as a ladies' man. Since then, the legend has repeatedly been embellished with love stories. Also, the German poet Julius Wolff presents him as a young lover. In 1875, Wolff publishes an epic poem that becomes a bestseller and sparks a kind of Pied Piper mania in Germany. During this time, Hamelin also discovers the touristic potential of its legend. In 1884, 600 years after the children went missing, the people of Hamelin celebrate for the first time the anniversary of the children's exodus. Julius Wolff also attends the celebration and becomes an honorary citizen of the town. Also, in the 20th century, acclaimed writers attend to the the legend, such as Bertolt Brecht, Karl Zuckmayer, Günter Grass, and Michael Ende. For the worldwide distribution, however, another one is of crucial importance, the British poet Robert Browning. In 1842, he writes the poem The Pied Piper of Hamelin, which still today is reprinted over and over again in English-speaking regions. It's read in schools and serves as basis for plays. That way, the lore of the Pied Piper of Hamelin has spread all over the world. Today, the legend is known in at least 35 languages and 51 countries.